Hey guys, so story time with Stephanie here. So I would like to do story time. So today I babysat, well no, it's a while ago. And I'm just gonna say the first letter of her name because I really don't want to cause any trouble. So yeah. Kay, she told me to babysit her daughter. And she said she was going to a party with some friends because it was Friday night and she didn't want to take care of her children. So she texted me, yeah. And then I said, okay, of course I love to babysit your children because you know what? I love kids. I love babysitting kids. So yeah, no big problems or no big deal. So I drove to their house and I saw her shoes waiting outside for me. Her house was really nice. To be honest, it was like a modern house. So when I walked in, she's like, this is Lella. Lella, yeah, her daughter's name is Lella, and her other daughter's name is Sophie. So I babysitted Lella and Sophie. She said she's just going to a bar, and yeah. So she left, and she said she doesn't know what time she will be home, but she will text me when she's coming home. So first of all, I asked the kids if they were hungry, like the girls, if they were hungry, and Sophie said no, but Lella said yes. So I asked her what did she want, if she wanted something to eat, if she wanted something, because I don't know what she wanted. So she said she wanted baked Parmesan, and I was like, what is baked Parmesan? Because I don't even know what baked Parmesan is. So I was questioning her what it was, and she was like, it's practically just when it's Parmesan, like cheese but baked. So I said, can you show me how to make it? And she's like, she doesn't know how to make it. Her mom makes it for her every day. So I'm like, okay. So I literally just took some cheese, put it in a baking pan, put it in the microwaved, and just sat it there for 30 seconds. And waited, and I gave it to her, and she's like, this is not baked Parmesan. I'm like, I don't know how to make it. Isn't baked cheese okay? Isn't microwave cheese good enough for her? She's like, no, it is not. I'm like, okay. So I just took Parmesan out, spread it on a pan, put it in the stove, and he did it for an hour. And she's like, thank you. And I'm like, you're welcome, I guess. So I headed down to Lella to see if she needed anything. And she was like, I want to watch a movie. And I'm like, do you guys have any movies that you like? And she was like, yeah, I want to watch SpongeBob. And I was like, sure, why not? Do you have it on CD? Yeah, here you go. She gave it to me, and we played it on. Well, Lella was watching. She was a good child, to be honest. She was good. And then so she was just watching SpongeBob, and then Sophie comes from the kitchen after eating her baked Parmesan. Like, what? She comes back and she's like, my stomach's feeling sick. And I'm like, maybe it's because you ate the baked Parmesan. Do you know? Do you have any allergies? I know I should have asked her before if she had any allergies, but I wasn't really thinking much because I was like, what is baked Parmesan? So I asked her, and she's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, I texted her mom. I just put her on the couch and she was watching SpongeBob. I gave her a blanket and pillow. So I texted her mom saying, does Sophie have any allergies? And she's like, she is lactose intolerant. And I'm like, uh-oh. Cheese, any kind of cheese, has milk in it. So I was kind of curious that she said baked Parmesan, and I asked her, does Sophie ask you regularly for baked Parmesan? And she's like, no, I have never heard her say it. That's cool. And I was like, okay, that's cool, kind of. Like, I was so strange. I couldn't really think. I was saying that's so cool, but no, it wasn't really. I don't even know why I said that. I'm like, ugh. And then, so I said, well, Sophie asked me for baked Parmesan, and she's like, well, she knows she's lactose. She does? Wait, you're not joking at all, right? No, not at all. Oh, wow. And I'm like, oh my God. She knew she was lactose intolerant and she still asked for baked Parmesan. At that time, I was kind of curious to see if she was actually just trying to make me feel like I'm bad to her, because I was like, why didn't she tell me? But I kind of think that it was my fault because I didn't ask her if she had any allergies. But yeah, I really don't know. So I was so curious at that time why she didn't. I was kind of thinking maybe she just did it so I didn't get paid, or she was trying to make it seem like I was being bad to her. But I forgot about that anyway, so this was an hour later. So Lila ended up falling asleep on the couch, so I carried her up to her room. And first of all, the mom never told me that she had the girls sleep in the same bedroom. There was bunk beds, so I didn't know which one it was, so I just sat her on this bed that was down for a second, and then I ran downstairs to see Sophie, and she was drinking milk in the kitchen. And I asked her, Sophie, why are you drinking milk? So I took it from her, and she's like, I'm not lactose intolerant. Do you not know that? You are lactose. I was speaking to your mom about it. And she ran to the living room, and I'm like, Sophie, I need your help. And she's like, what now, you nanny? I'm like, I'm not your nanny. I'm just babysitting you. And that's not nice to treat people like that. So I asked her, which one is your bed, the top or the bottom in your room? And she said, the bottom. And I was like, okay. I just put Lila on the bottom for now. She said, get her out of my bed. I hate you so much. I'm like, what is the big deal about that? And she's like, ugh. And then, so we looked, so I said, okay, so, yeah, I'll just go upstairs. And then I carried her to the top bed, and I just closed the lights, closed the doors, put a blanket on her. Then I left to check on Sophie to see what she was doing. And Sophie, she was sitting on the couch watching a horror story. And I'm like, why are you watching that at 5 a.m.? No, it was actually 10 o'clock. So I was asking her, why are you watching that at 10 o'clock? It's scary. And she's like, I like horror stories. And I was like, okay, I'll just sit down with you. Do you need anything? And she's like, don't even ask me. I don't need anything, you dumb nanny. I'm like, that's really so rude. And so I just sat down with her. Then I came to a jump scare, which I screamed because it was scary. I cannot lie about that. I can admit it all I want. It was scary. She was just laughing at me, and I'm like, what is so funny? That is very rude. Do you treat your sister like that? And she's like, yeah, I treat her horrible, and I like the fact I do. And I'm like, you're so strange. I said it in my mind that she's so strange. You're so strange and stuff that's really rude. And then, so after that, I just go upstairs to check on blah blah. And then Sophie bends up and pushes me out of her way. I'm like, Missy, that is not very nice of you to do that to anybody, not just me. So she said, I don't care about you. She started screaming, crying, throwing pillows on the floor. I'm like, shh, shh, shh. Sophie, you're going to wake up your sister Lila. And she's like, I don't care. So she started crying more and more and more and more and more. I carried her and I brought her to the bathroom because I'm like, can you say sorry? That is not very nice. And she's like, I want my mom. She started banging on the table. I'm like, oh my God, I started shaking my head that time. I just left her because I'm like, oh my God, what are you gonna do? I texted the mom saying, are you coming home anytime soon? And I just kept it to myself, the fact that her Sophie, her daughter, was acting so rude. And I can't even imagine. And she was like, no, I'm so sorry, but I promise that I will pay you the amount I owe you. She probably owed me about $150 because of this. And she was like, because I had no clue what time she would come home. Like, no clue. And, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Just thinking about the fact that her daughter, Sophie, was like this. So after that, I said, okay, I'll just keep watching the kids. And she's like, okay, are they in bed yet? Well, I told her, Lella is in bed, of course. And she's like, okay, that's good. What about Sophie? And I told her, no, Sophie's in the bathroom right now. And she's like, okay, just make sure that Sophie showers and Lella showers too. Can you just wake Lella up? But she's already asleep, I told her. Because, like, that's pretty strange when I just told her that she's sleeping and then she wants me to wake her up again to let her shower. If I was the kid's mother, I'd just ask the kids, the girls, to take a shower in the morning because it is legit. She's legit sleeping. And then I just said, it's okay. And then I went to check on Sophie. She was, oh my God. I don't even know what to say. She cutted herself. I went in the bath. And I was like, oh my God, I started screaming, panicking. I called the mom, like, on the phone, saying, your daughter cutted herself. And she's like, what, who? Sophie. And I told her everything. And she said, I'm coming home in 15 minutes. And that was like an hour. So I'm like, how was that going to help anything? So I just said, okay. And like, I just put down the phone and I was getting her out, put a bandage on her, make sure she was all right. And then she said, I just want to die. And I'm like, Sophie, what are you doing? And I said, you're probably sleepy. Go take a shower first. I'll shower you. So I showered her and stuff, put her to bed, and then she was sound asleep. I made sure nothing was making sounds because I wanted her to sleep and get some rest. She was probably cranky because of that, but no, that was not the situation. So I went and got Lella, and she said, what do you want? And she was like, and I was like, I need you to take a shower. Your mom wants you to take a shower. And she was like, okay, I'll take a shower. And I was like, good girl. So I showered her, and she went back to bed, which was really good that it was easy for her. And then I went downstairs again. I just watched I watched a show, sit down, put a blanket, and I was starting to fall asleep because it was so late. It was 12 o'clock, and I was extremely exhausted. It was so tiring after the whole day that I was so busy, and the girls, well, mostly Sophie. So then after about 2 hours, it was 1 a.m. Sophie decided to wake up. And I was like, and she just came downstairs and woke me up, like straight woke me up. And she was like, wake up. She started screaming, and I'm like, Sophie, shh. What do you want? What's the matter? And she's like, you're the problem. I can't sleep because Lella's farting. I'm like, farting. And she's like, I meant snoring. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. And so after that, I just decided to put her back to bed because there was really nothing else I could do. It was 1 a.m. and I could not do anything to help because it was 1 a.m. I was extremely exhausted. I didn't want to do anything. Everybody was just so exhausted. I'm like, where's the mother? And I put Sophie back to bed, and I just woke up Lala, saying, Lala, can you just be a little quieter, snoring? She's like, okay. And then she went back to bed, closed the door very silently, and I went back downstairs, and I decided to text the mom because it was 1 a.m. And she said, I will pay the full amount. And I'm like, oh my God, it is literally 1 a.m. She told me it won't be a 24-hour, but it was 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, it's morning already. Like super early morning. I didn't even get some rest. I completely didn't get rest. So I texted her saying, where on earth are you? It is 1 a.m. And she didn't reply to me. I kind of thought she was going to do 24 hours. I had no clue she was. But it kind of seemed like it now because it was legit 1 a.m. in the morning. She was probably sleeping. I have no clue where she went, if she was still at the bar, because she said she would go to the bar and hang out with some friends. But at that point, I decided to think she went somewhere else. Well, she probably went to the bar and went to a hotel. So that is exactly what I was starting to think, because who would go to the bar at 1 a.m.? The bar closes, of course. So I decided to, who cares? I went back to bed, and it was about 3 a.m. when I heard noise upstairs coming from the girls' room. So I went upstairs, and I looked around. I opened the door very silently because I didn't want to wake anything up. And Sophie, she was sitting on her bed watching YouTube. I'm like, Sophie, no. What are you doing? No, it's only 3 a.m. Oh, jeez. I was so extremely tired. I'm like, oh my God, stop making something to wake me up. I'm extremely tired. And your sister is too. And I'm like, you have to be tired. And she's like, no, I'm not stopping. I'm not tired at all. And she said it. She's not tired. And I'm like, okay, who cares? Why don't you come downstairs so you don't wake up your sister Lala? So she came down with me. She bought her iPad. And she was sitting down on the couch, and I fell asleep. And then, about, 5 minutes later, she had a bleeding nose. And I'm like, and she woke me up and saying she had a bleeding nose. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. And I'm coming right now, so yeah. But make sure to watch part 2 of this story time. Hope you enjoyed this video. Smash that like video and turn on all notifications and subscribe to my our YouTube channel. Bye.